I was afraid to do this podcast. I spoke to Shane about it last year. He wouldn't do it. I wanted to, but I was afraid to do it because every time I said something, someone thought I was trying to do it for my own gain. And I thought the best opportunity now is because I'm co-driving with Will, I can have these conversations and there's no personal gain there. If anything, I'm just trying to, I'm a fan watching on race weekend, so I can give my perspective on what it was like on TV. But I do feel like here in Australia, the fans can be quite critical of whether it's a tall poppy thing, but sometimes we do get some hate. So I don't know that it 100% lies with the drivers why they're not speaking out, because you speak out, you get beat up. And you see characters now like Chaz and those guys where they're always, they're personalities, but they're always positive personalities. We rarely see them speak out or be controversial, and that's what I think we're missing.
Yeah, because there's no line, there's this, no social hate, right? There's this line that someone's put in, and what may be hateful in your mind probably isn't hateful to me, right? Mm. But I'm supposed to feel bad for you.
It's like what you find offensive.
Yeah, exactly. So you're offended, so I should be offended with you. And I'm like, but I'm not. I don't think. And so a lot of the fans, if you come on my Facebook, you'll see I try to respond back to them. Yep. And a lot of them are in some people's minds hateful, but I don't see it that way. I actually find it quite funny and quite amusing. Now, Australians have a unique approach to life, right? And we've got to remember that, right? Again, the Australians that I knew 20 years ago have a unique approach, and that is in your face. And it's one of the reasons, by the way, why we've done so well in America, right? Americans basically, they're the smiling assassins, right? Yeah. Australians come in, they tell you how it is, right? Whether you like it or not, I don't really care, but they tell you how it is. You come back here and it's almost like this movement, this woke movement where you've got this fluid, like, oh, that upset me, right? And I'm like, well, okay, but it didn't upset everybody. It might have upset you. Yeah, and the minority,
the meaning of it.
The minority now has the majority control. And for me, that's the problem with supercars. And I want to see the drivers get out there. I mean, I know a lot of these drivers personally, right? And the personalities that I see, you don't see.
Yeah.
Right? And they are restricted, right? And they are reserved in how they approach things because a sponsor might be upset with what you say. And I'm like, for boost, I'm like, say whatever you like.
Typically, when we have done things like live streams during COVID, like for me, I did that a lot where we did some races online with Shane and stuff, and that was where Apex Hunters United started. But I was surprised. I've always been not reserved, but I have bit my tongue publicly. I'm the type of person that I am a bit polarized. I do know that there's a reputation of sometimes being hard to work with because I will say the most uncomfortable thing if I feel like it needs to be said. If I'm in a boardroom or if I'm in a debrief after a race and I feel like something needs to be said, I'm going to say it. But I felt like in COVID, when we started to just be ourselves online, I was blown away the fans' reaction, because you could communicate directly with them through Twitch and live streaming. And they were actually supportive of us being ourselves. Like Shane started to open up. I think we left it too long after COVID and we started to go back into our hole a little bit, into our shell. But during COVID, I was actually surprised how much the fans did enjoy seeing us drinking online, being ourselves, saying some dumb shit, doing some dumb things, and showing a personality.
I agree with Pete. I think that we have gotten soft in a way. You're worried. It's not supercars silencing us, or anything like that. They don't mind at all. It's all the drivers are worried about what the fans are going to say. You get one or two bad comments and you're going, oh, is a sponsor going to be happy with what I said there, or is this going to be right? So, I think that I was thinking about this recently, and I think as a driver, I'm quite a happy person. I want to make sure that everyone enjoys it and all that sort of stuff. But are we getting soft that, if we get a couple of bad comments or say something that the minority will be unhappy about, we don't say it. So do we need to harden up as drivers and go, I'm going to say that, and even though it's going to be the minority, they make a lot of noise, they comment a lot, just not care about it.
And you really need the support though, because that conversation said about the US team owner, I got threatened to be fired that day. Like the phone call was pretty fucking hard. I had to talk my way back into actually racing the next weekend because of something I posted online, right? And it was... I was 21 or whatever, 22. And, I thought it was funny. I was being myself and posted something. And that was the first time, I think it was nearly 8 months till I posted again. I was terrified of, so you actually need the support of someone like Pete though, who's a brand that wants you to be yourself. But it's not always like that. And I think Formula One's lucky now because they're bigger than the brands almost. Formula One's want to be involved with that. Whereas the commercial landscape of supercars probably isn't as strong.
But the irony is, and I love this, when you come back to Australia, you just drive down the road, right? You cut somebody off, right? That person will scream as if, if they had a chance, they'd try to kill you, right? Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and so when I look at social media, it's no different, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like you've cut them off, you've upset them, and now they're going to scream at you. We don't go back and look at the second that person says it, we drive off and forget about it.
Yeah.
But somehow because it's as a comment on social media, it stays there, right? And then other people start to add in. So it would be basically like I cut off somebody and then 8 cars behind start yelling at me, right? And so this mentality of we've been used to it, right? And so the social media platform does allow it to expand. But again, I don't care what people say. And you know why I don't care? Because at the end of the day, I want them to come out. And the frustrating thing for me is that the word hate, this social hate thing, and I give Chaz a hard time about it because I know he's got no social hate, and he actually picked me up on it the other day. But my point is, what is hate? Is if I disagree with you and I call you an idiot and I think you're stupid, is that really hate? No, it's not, right? If you're physically violent to somebody, if you threaten somebody with physical violence or you threaten to hurt them, but if you just say something like, I think you're a dickhead or you're a fucking idiot, that's not hate. 9 times out of 10, they might be right.
I said, I actually, because the no social hate thing, like I appreciate what he's trying to do there, but I don't think it's an achievable goal at all. But
in fact, I think it waters it down. I think it waters down the real hate because people throw that at me all the time, right? They're like, no social hate. And I'm going, that's not hate, mate. So they throw it at you. And I say, all you're doing is you're watering it down for the people who truly are getting hate, right? And I said, that's what you need to watch because when you draw a line down the middle, right, you say that's what's acceptable and that's not acceptable, everybody has a different line.
I think on social media, though, it's good to encourage those that have something positive to say it because often people only say the negative and it's usually the minority still, but we don't hear the positive because if someone's got something nice, they don't typically say it. Like they don't. So I would say, I said this in the last podcast, I think it was, that I would just encourage people to say a positive thing if they've got something to say and let the negative still be there because you're never going to stop it.
Can I hold you up on that one?
I'm wrong there.
All right, I'll tell you why. Have you ever gone on to a Yelp review or these reviews? People who are positive don't normally say they're positive because they're happy.
True.
People that go on these things are the people that are negative, right? And so when you go onto a forum...
A good argument in a comment section is always good. When you've got someone debating...
No, a good debate, that's fine.
I love that.
But
that's what I'm saying.
Know that most people come on because they're angry. They're not coming on because they're happy. And so this whole concept of like, I read the Yelp reviews, right? And you sit back and people are like, shit, there was this, there was that. And I'm like, people don't go on. Like I go to restaurants, you guys go to restaurants, you go to places. You're always happy. The only time you get online, if you're on an airline, is when you've had a shit experience. Just remember that the forum and the platform is designed for people to vent negative. Right. And so that's all I say is if you want positive, I'd suggest you go to the Himalayas. Hang out with the monks.
So if Pete's saying something negative, we know what his mood's like. Don't call him and ask him for money.
He's
on social media. Don't call him and ask for money.
By the way, my anger lasts for about 30 seconds. Even if I have a fight with somebody and I have a disagreement
I'm exactly the same.
2 minutes later,
leave that room.
2 minutes later, and again, I've had obviously the battles with Brody, but if Brody rang me tomorrow, I'd probably go, okay, Brady, what's going on? Because I do want
to be honest, that was probably the biggest thing going back in my career with this social stuff and everything was the Frosty thing. Over at New Zealand. We had a crash. I got into him a bit. There was no, apart from what happened with Barry and they're unhappy, but we had words. I got quite angry, but I thought it was good showing a bit of passion, Frosty came in and I think it was only a week later I saw him. I'm like, I don't really care, mate. Like it was just that thing. But then I got it roasted for getting angry at him for punting me off at 250k an hour, which I think should be allowed. When I think back now, I'd probably go, I'm not going to get up him because I just got torched for it all online.
Your own arrangements.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Like I probably did make my own arrangements, but at the end of the day, I think there needs to be more stuff of like what happened there
100%.
To make a bit of controversy for it to hit media and all of that sort of stuff. But now, because of what happened then and the comments and everything, someone takes me out, I just go, whatever.
Even what Barry did though, you got to tune up for pushing Frosty. If someone walks in your house, you knock them out. I'm like, you walk into someone else's garage knowing that you got mechanics around and everyone's going to be on their driver's side. So just go in knowing that you might get a shove or a punch, and that's on you.
Again, you just got to remember that the environment that you're playing in, the audience that you're talking to, people that go to a comedy show, right?
Yeah.
They go there to laugh, right?
Yep.
If you're going to go there and you're going to get offended, right? If you go there with a sensitive approach to life, you're going to get offended. The audience that we have in Supercars that goes online is that audience, right? And so if you don't want to play in there, delete social media and get out. But again, you can't take it personal, right? And if you're as a sponsor, you can't take it personal, right? I would rather him say something, right? And have all these people come in and basically disagree with him and argue and call him this and call him that. You know why? Because they're talking to him.
Yeah.
As opposed to, and this is the part where I talk about the vanilla approach, right? most of those drivers up and down pit lane today, you don't know who they are.
No.
You just do not. And I know Supercars trying with these videos that they're now running where they basically run, here's a driver and this is what they're all about. But that's boring. It's like watching a doco, right? On a person you're not interested in. I'm more interested in what they think, what they feel, right? They've got to be angry, right? You're a race car driver, for God's sake.
Well, you've worked with me enough when you were sponsoring Walk Control. You've seen me blow my top.
Yeah, I've seen you when I used to walk back to row 17 because Ryan wouldn't give you a car that would work. I go all the way back there to see you and James.
You were first to the podium at Melbourne Grand Prix, though.
And I was like, and I'd say to Ryan, what the fuck is going on here, Ryan? We're a sponsor. We want to be close to the front of the grid. And I remember you and James, you were fucking angry. You're like, this is shit. We should... But we never saw that, right? We never saw how you felt because it's like the team wouldn't let you basically air the fact that you were fucking pissed off. But let's face it, if you're 17th and 18th in a car, right, and you don't say anything, everybody knows what you're thinking.
Well, half the time, I said this to Frosty walking to a signing session last year. I was actually battling with the fact of just bullshitting all the time when you go upstairs. You go to the corporate suite and we were having a really hard time. We'd both ran out of fuel at Bathurst. It was an absolute disaster. Frosty had a contractor engineering his car at this point. It was going bad. And I said, I'm finding it hard to just go up and be positive all the time. Like I was genuinely having a battle with I feel like a compulsive liar at this point. And I didn't want, and I started to just from Gold Coast on, I was as honest as I could be in the corporate box. I stopped and it was like, it doesn't go down that well, but then I think it's respected as well because people feel your pain and it was getting to the point where it was fucking hard. Like I didn't want to go to a racetrack anymore. And so you have a bad weekend, you rock up to the corporate suite and to polish that turd, it's not good. And I didn't feel right about it anymore. And I think that I've got to that point in my career where I think people do respect us being honest about it because they can appreciate the fight. We're in it for the highs and they are few and far between, even though yours are quite regular at the moment. But I think it is important to vent it and let it out because I definitely felt a lot better about it. I was surprised I didn't get really any heat back. The owner didn't like it so much, but the sponsors actually were coming up and having good conversations. We were having proper conversations.
This may be controversial, but it seems to be acceptable to cry as a driver for disappointment.
Yep.
But it's not acceptable to be angry because of disappointment. And to me, that's a big issue, right? That, poor driver, he didn't get one and he's tearing up in the background and everyone's like, and I'm like, that's acceptable. Now, 20 years ago, that wasn't acceptable. And I'm okay with it, right? If you want to show an emotion, I don't care whether it's a tear or anger, but be allowed to show both emotions, not just the one that makes everybody feel really, really good and makes them, cuddle their blanket.
Yeah.
I want to hear the driver that isn't happy, right? And is angry about what happened. And explodes, right? And then don't apologize afterwards because I'm not looking for an apology. The fans aren't looking for an apology.
Like a driver should never have to apologize for
ever
on the radio.
Never, ever apologize. I did it. I said it. Done, right? I did it at the heat of the moment. I'm moving on.
Yep.
Let's all move on. And then what they do is they just water it down because everyone's like, you got to go out and apologize for that. And I'm like, well, why? It's what I felt at the time, right? And again, I think that's the things that you really need to drive. But just look at the drivers now. And I'm sure they've got great personalities.
They do.
Will and Brody.
All of them, yeah.
All of them have, but you just don't see it.
Yeah, for sure.